Welcome back to the Design Bundles YouTube channel. Today we are doing part 2 of Christmas ornaments that sell like crazy, both online and at craft fairs. If you joined us in the last video, we covered 3 very different ornament types that have been selling really well this year and will sell really well into the upcoming holiday season. And you guys loved it, so today we are doing 3 more. Let's not waste any time. Let's jump right over to the computer and start with our first ornament. So our first ornament is going to be using these acrylic blanks, and we're going to use paint and vinyl to customize them. These are really cute to do like common Christmas sayings, and they're a little bit bigger, so you can do like quotes from Christmas movies. You can customize them with names, monograms, dates, years, entire families. They're really fun, and I got this pack of 6 for $2.79. They are intended to be car charms, but that's just an ornament for your car. So love these blanks. They are from Hobby Lobby. Let's go ahead and jump onto the computer and start designing our vinyl portion. Okay, so here we are in Cricut Design Space. I am using a font that you can get on Design Bundles. It is included with a Plus membership. It is Monkey Script. So we're gonna be using Monkey Script today to put some cute little sayings on our acrylic ornament. So I'm gonna do one that says ho ho ho, and then we're gonna do a second one that says merry and bright. All right, so we're gonna do 2 different ones. Let me show you really quickly over on Design Bundles. This is what the listing looks like for Monkey Script if you're looking for it on Design Bundles. It's really cute. I love the retro script font. So you can search that and find it, go ahead and get it downloaded. And then once you have it downloaded to your computer, if you have a Mac, you're gonna be putting it in your font book. You will be able to find it by selecting font and then going to system. System in Cricut Design Space is where all of your fonts that are on your computer are kept. And then you can just search it by the font name and it'll come right up. So that's kind of how you get to it. If you don't already have it downloaded, or if you are using this one with us today, feel free to use whatever font you want to. But if you want to use that one, that's how you're gonna get to it. So we've got our 2 designs here. What I'm gonna do really quickly though is open my acrylic blanks. And we're gonna measure it to make sure that our size is right. We are gonna need 2. I love that this pack comes with 6 for $2. That is such a good deal. Let's go ahead and measure it. I'm just gonna measure the entire, what's the word for that? Diameter. Gonna measure the diameter. So the diameter is just about 4. I really want our text though to kind of stay around 3. So 3 inches is what we're gonna be utilizing here. So just over here on the computer, I'm gonna select ho 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 because I do want it to be all in one line. I think that'll be cute. And I'm just gonna change the width to 3. Now you could change the font size instead of changing like the size of your overall design, but I think that's a little bit confusing when we're working with text because it's really just like, we wanna adjust the whole design. I'm also gonna adjust the line height here and move bright a little bit up. You can do that under advanced, oh, not under advanced, sorry, they've moved things around. You can do that under line space. I'm just gonna knock that down a little bit until it's just right snug up in there. And then I could technically separate these and like move bright around with a little more freedom, but I actually like it all centered like that. I think that's really nice. So we're just gonna leave it like that. And we need this to be 3, just like the other. So we're gonna do that. And now we have both of our little things cut out in vinyl. Now, I could change this to the color of vinyl that I plan to use by selecting material colors up here, but the reality is I know that I'm gonna cut these in the same color. I'm just not really super worried about it, so I'm just gonna leave them gray, and then when the time comes, I'm gonna pick whatever color I want. So let's set that off to the side for a second. Let's get paint on these bad boys because we want the paint to be drying while we're cutting our vinyl. That's gonna save us time, so. Okay, so let's get some blue paint. I'm gonna use this bright blue color, mostly because I like almost never use it. So I think it'll be nice to do something a little bit different. So I'm literally just going to make like a swoosh. So I'm going to get some paint and I'm just gonna make 2 little swatches. Like I'm not really concerned about how clean it looks. Like I'm just making sure I have the paint on there like pretty thick. But in terms of like shape or design, you really cannot mess this up. Like we just want a swatch. So you can do one coat and then go on to the other one and then come back. Whatever works best with your paint and how long it's gonna take to dry, but you're probably gonna end up wanting to do 2 coats. But even with that, it's okay to have areas that are more heavily painted than others. Doesn't have to be perfect. And in fact, I don't even think I'm gonna need a second coat. Like I think that looks great. I like it being a little less opaque in some areas. I think it just adds to the appeal. That's good for the paint. So I'm gonna set those off to the side and allow them to start drying, and then let's pick out some vinyl and cut our vinyl for these. I kind of like this idea of having it be dark blue, light blue. So I'm gonna select this like baby blue color and we're gonna go with that. Okay, we're keeping it really simple on the computer. I'm not even gonna show you this part necessarily because it's so simple. We're gonna make sure we're cutting this on a mat. We do not need to mirror anything because we're using adhesive vinyl today. Making sure my Maker 3 is turned on. We are gonna cut this on our Maker 3 today, but you could do this project on a Cricut Joy, on a Cricut Joy Extra. You could really do it on anything because these are very small designs that we're cutting out. And I'm gonna cut this on the premium vinyl removable matte setting. It's pretty much the same as the permanent vinyl setting, but I just have found that it's my fave and I use it every time. So we're gonna use that, and we don't even need to select to remember material pressure because we're only gonna be cutting 1 mat. So let's get this loaded up and get it cutting. Okay, so we're gonna ignore the boot print because I accidentally stepped on my mat the other day, which I still have to clean. And we're just gonna place our vinyl in the top left corner here. And then I'm gonna use a little squeegee to just kind of lay it all down, make sure there's no bubbles. Don't obsess too much over that. It just needs to be somewhat flat. And then we're gonna load this into our Cricut and let it start cutting. Once you see the flashing go button, you can press it and it's gonna go to work. Okay, this is done cutting. Okay, we're gonna use the pink weeding hook today. Okay, this is not dry yet, so we're gonna set these homeboys over to the side. I'm gonna weed it directly on the mat just so nothing is peeling up or curling. Just going to take my weeding hook, go to the upper corner, and then I like to just create a very flat angle and gently peel back. Usually we have no problems with that. And then I'm just gonna use my little hook here to get the little innards out. And that was really clean and really easy. So now we just need to put some transfer tape on top. And then I'm just gonna cut a little strip for each one here. Let's see, need about that much. Just gonna cut this into 2 pieces really quick. And then we're gonna lay a piece down on top of Ho Ho Ho. And then we're gonna lay a piece down on top of Merry and Bright. Then we'll be able to pick these guys up later for our ornaments. So we actually don't need our Cricut mat for any of our other ornaments today, so I'm just gonna leave it on the Cricut mat. I'm gonna set it to the side over here. Perfect. And we'll let our acrylic ornaments dry. In the meantime, let's move on to ornament number 2. Okay, we are here in the Glowforge app for this new design because this one is going to be a wooden ornament that we're gonna cut out with the Glowforge and paint. And I absolutely love these, especially if you're planning to sell these online or sell them at a craft fair. I think these are, bar none, just amazing ornaments because they're really personalized. So you can add, this is the design we're gonna be using. I'm gonna pop it up here real quick so you can see it. And what we're gonna be doing with these is personalizing the stocking. So it's gonna have like the family name at the top, and then you're able to add as many stockings as you want, like for each family member. So I think these are really cute. I think these are really trendy this year, and people love them because they're personalized. So I'm just gonna search stocking ornament, and you can see that I'm only looking for Plus products, which, by the way, I would be remiss if I didn't tell you, going Plus membership with design bundles is really the way to go. You get access to like literally over 1 million SVG cut files. That includes all different kinds of SVGs, and they are all amazing. I don't go anywhere else for SVGs anymore, which is just, not only does it save time, but it also saves money. So I'd be remiss if I didn't tell you that, and we are gonna be using the Plus library today to find this stocking ornament because I know that I found it before. So I'm kind of scrolling through here looking for the one that I know that I'm looking for, but you can see while we're scrolling that there are so many good stocking ornaments. There's just so many good stocking designs that you could use. I feel like that one would be really cute to do as a wood cut as well. Oh, there she is. This is the one I think I used before. I'm gonna open it in a new tab because now I'm second guessing myself. Was there another one that I really liked? I love this one. Just as a side note, the felt, I'm definitely gonna be doing that just kind of in my own time. If you want a video on doing those felt ornaments, let me know in the comments. We'd be happy to oblige because I'm definitely doing it. Okay, I think this is the one that I saw before. I do really like this one, so we'll just go with it. You can see that it's telling you can fit 1 to 12 names on there, and then in the second listing image, they're kind of showing you what that would look like. So let's go ahead and download this. This is the one I downloaded before. Oop, I don't want that one. I want this one. We want the one that has the SVG file in it because that's the kind of cut file that the Glowforge reads. And then I'm just gonna go to my downloads here and unzip that file. And then we can hop right back over to Glowforge and we're ready to drop this in. So let's go to create new design and I'm gonna select to upload a file. We're gonna open that folder. We're gonna open the SVG folder, and then you can see we kind of have like each individual piece here. So we know we're gonna need number 1. So I'm gonna go ahead and open that, and then we can add additional files to it. I'm gonna guess that those other files are like, actually, I don't know what those other files are because this is everything we need for this. Now I'm really curious. Hold on, let's drop another one in. I'm curious what else is included. It might be individual stockings, or it could be like alternates. Oh, I see. So this would be like if you were gonna do more stockings. Wow, I love that the designer of this file did that. So each individual SVG file is for however many stockings you want on your ornament. So if you wanna do 1 stocking, you would select 1. If you want your ornament to have 2 stockings, you would select 2, and on and on and on, which is really nice because then you don't have to worry about resizing the stockings yourself. So let's do 4 on ours, and we'll just do it like for my family. So we're gonna do 4 stockings. We're gonna drop that file in, and then we're gonna grab our wood and load it into our Glowforge. Okay, we're gonna use this wood right here. I actually got this on Amazon. If you want to buy this exact wood, I will link it in the description of this video. But I just really like the tone of this wood. It's light, but it has character, and it's still paintable. So I'm opening the top, but I am actually gonna use my pass-through slot over here because it's a little bigger than the base of my Glowforge to kind of slide it in. I just kind of want to bump it up against the inner lines there to make sure it's good and straight. Then we're going to shut the lid. Okay, we've just loaded up our material in our Glowforge. It is now homing and calibrating and all of those wonderful things that it does. But now you can see our design a lot better, which was what we wanted. So you can see it's gonna cut a bunch of individual pieces. We're gonna end up gluing those together, and then we can paint our stockings or whatever we wanna do. So here's like our ornament piece. Here's the little name plate that goes at the top that's gonna have our name on it. Here's each individual stocking, which we are also gonna put names on in a second. And then here's our little Merry Christmas. We're gonna pick some settings here. It's not proof grade material, so it's not gonna automatically select our settings. But I tend to like to use the medium ash hardwood setting for this type of wood. So I'm gonna go ahead and select that. And when I do, you can see that these start showing up in different colors. Everything that's gonna be cut all the way through the material is orange, and everything that's going to be engraved is red. The only thing we need to do to this design is add some additional text. So I'm gonna grab a little text box here, and I'm gonna put Lambert, because that is my last name. And we're gonna pick a different typeface. I really like this little Lavishly Yours. I think it's cute, and it kind of almost matches what we already have. It probably actually is the same if I had to guess. And we're just gonna put it right here. I'm going to make it a little smaller so I can really see. And now I am just going to duplicate it, and I'm gonna add everybody's name to their little stocking here. So that one is gonna be Henry. Cute. Duplicating again. This one's going to be Hallie. Duplicating again. This one is going to be Matt. And then one more time for me. Cute. So now I'm just kind of gonna briefly look and make sure that they look right on the stocking, that this looks right up here. I could also like put the year underneath. In fact, let's do that. I don't know what the numbers look like in this font. I like it. We'll keep it. Okay, so we have all of our engraving marks. We have all of our cut files, or our cut marks, and you can see how this would make a really good Etsy listing. It's so personalized, it's so detailed. So let's get into cutting this. We are ready. So let's hit print. It's gonna upload it to the Glowforge, and then we're gonna be ready to let this cut. We're gonna take a brief break while it cuts, and then when we get back, hopefully our acrylic ornaments are dry and ready for vinyl, and those are ready to pop out and paint. Okay, so this is done cutting. It's been about an hour or so. So I'm just gonna slide it out. The little pieces are wanting to fall out, which is honestly kind of a good problem to have. There we go. This is gonna require a little bit of sanding, but you can see, looks great. So I'm gonna set that off to the side and get all of our pieces out here. Let's get them over onto the table, and then I'll kind of show you what we're working with. We're gonna do some light sanding on these things. I thought I might have to recut these because like maybe they weren't gonna cut all the way through. They actually did really well. I love it. The engraving turned out great. You can see how it's so delicate, but it's so pretty. So now we're just gonna do a little bit of sanding because sometimes, especially with the Glowforge Aura, which is the one that I have, I just feel like sometimes on the edges, it just does not do a perfect job. So we're just gonna come in and like clean some of these little pieces up. Sometimes you can just kind of break it off with your finger and then sand it, and you can see like that just makes all the difference in the world. That might've been the only one that needed it. So now that we've done that, we are gonna need some glue to glue this one together. And then after we glue it together, we can decide about painting or not. I was leaning towards painting our little actual stockings to add some contrast, and I think I am still gonna do that. So I'm gonna grab my glue and my paint pen, and we're gonna kind of do it all in one fell swoop. So I'm gonna start with this little nameplate on the top, and we're just gonna lay that on there, press it down. Now let's get the nameplate from the bottom. This is truly beautiful. I'm loving this. Before we put on the names on the stockings though, I am gonna go ahead and paint them so I don't have to be as careful. So I'm just taking my little paint pen. I really don't need it to be like crazy painted. I just want it to look red, but I still want to see the wood grain. So I'm not using like regular paint for this because I want to see the wood through it. So just going in, making sure we're covering all the parts that are supposed to be red, but I'm really not worrying about that spot at the top because that's where the nameplate is gonna go. So also just kind of like blending a little bit so it looks nice. On the other ones, I went against the grain. I went with the grain. I actually think that was a little bit better, but because of the angle that I'm holding it at, I'm gonna do it this way. All right, and I'm just gonna blend it together a little better while it's still wet. Okay, and when that dries, that's gonna be perfect. Just like a little bit of red. I can always go back and add more. Not worried about it. Okay, let's do me and Matt's stockings at the top. And then we'll do Henry. And then Hallie. All right, so now we're gonna take the whole thing, get some glue on it, throw it on there. We're gonna have to do that again with this one, but that's okay. We're not scared of a little glue. Okay, look at that. She is put together. Now we're just gonna let her dry. So I'm gonna leave it like this. I'm not gonna like tilt it up to show you yet. We'll do that at the end. Let's let it dry, and then I'm gonna use a Q-tip to kind of clean up the extra glue, and then that ornament is ready to go. So I'm gonna set it off to the side. And let's get back to these acrylic ones. So we've been letting this dry. We already weeded our vinyl and cut it. So let's just apply our vinyl now. If you recall, we had our vinyl still on our mat over here, but we've already applied our transfer tape. I'm just gonna kind of press it down and then peel the backing away from the vinyl, not the other way around. So we're gonna do Merry and Bright first. I'm gonna put it on this one. And you kind of gotta be careful. Your transfer tape, it does have a tendency to like pull up the paint a little bit, especially if it's not totally dry. It also kind of makes it look a little more distressed, so maybe you like it like that. So it will pull up some of your paint. You can go back and fix it, or you can decide you like it that way. So I'll let you decide. Here's how this one turned out. Merry and Bright, very cutesy, very demure. Now I'm gonna show you what you could do to prevent so much paint from pulling up. It takes a little bit longer, but if you don't want paint to pull up, some people think it's worth it. So that's why we're doing 2 of these. We're gonna show you both methods. I was hoping it wouldn't pull up quite that much, but this transfer tape is quite strong, so it's a little problematic. So another thing that I do sometimes is I will literally cut it down to the bare minimum here. I'm gonna lay it down here, and then I'm gonna pull it up. I'm gonna show you actually kind of 2 methods in one. Cause see how like even just trying to grab my transfer tape is like causing the paint to peel? That's like so frustrating when that happens. Significantly different result there. So that is one way to prevent your paint from peeling. Another thing that I will sometimes do, especially if I'm using a script font, is I'll take my weeding hook and I'm actually going to release my vinyl from my transfer tape. So I'm actually just gonna do this like a sticker. I'm gonna use my weeding hook here to kind of get my ho-ho-ho off of my transfer tape. You kind of have to be a little careful. This doesn't work as well if you're doing a long word. I will go ahead and tell you, but if you're doing like a monogram or like a short word like I'm doing right here, this becomes doable. So, and it is a little tricky, but I've got it on my finger. I'm just gonna grab my weeding hook, slide it under, don't get your own skin. There we go. So I've got it, and I'm literally just gonna lay it where I want it and tap it down. So that is also an option for you if you're doing a shorter word. See how that, no peeling, no issues there because I laid it down manually like a sticker. Now for the last one, I'm just gonna lay it down. I'm not selling this. I'm not super concerned about it. And another thing you can do is just really be careful. Like I'm not gonna press it down on the paint part. It's still gonna pull, obviously, but I'm gonna be very careful. I'm not gonna press too hard. I'm gonna peel slowly. I'm gonna do everything I can to protect that paint, not like I did on the first one. So you can see there, very different results. I think both have like their own merit. Like I think both are cute in different ways. You just have to decide what kind of style you like best. And at the end of the day, you can always come back with paint again and add more paint. Like get a little sponge or a cotton ball and add some more paint to it. All these would need is ribbon or string, and then they are ready to go. Acrylic ornaments. Okay, we are on to our third ornament. I'm really excited about this one. It is felt. Let's get into it. This is a very beginner-friendly ornament, so I think this one might be my favorite of the day. Let's jump to the computer first. I'll show you the design. Let's get it set up in Cricut Design Space. It's gonna be a little bit different because we are going to be cutting 2 different materials for this project, but nothing you can't handle. Okay, so we're gonna start in Cricut Design Space. Here is the design file I got from Design Bundles. Once again, it is included with a Plus membership, just in case you needed more convincing to go for that Plus membership. It is included, and that is the one we're using. So let's jump over to Cricut Design Space, where I'm gonna show you how to upload it. And of course, we're gonna see in real time just how good these Plus designs are. So I'm just gonna browse, go to my downloads. It's this ugly sweater one. And we're gonna go ahead and select, she's got it as separate SVGs, which respect. We've got our background and our top layer as a separate SVG. So here's our background. I'm just gonna click upload, and there it is. And then I'm just gonna go through that process one more time, but this time with layer 1 or the top layer. So let's pull that in. They should be exactly the same size and fit perfectly on each other, and they do. And all I'm gonna do is just make these different colors so I can kind of visualize what I'm gonna be doing, because these are 2 separate layers. So I'm gonna go in for this bottom layer and I'm gonna make it green, because we are gonna be doing it in felt. And then we're actually gonna do our top layer in white HTV, which is going to be really cute. We're gonna iron it on, and make this cute little design. So that's what we're gonna end up with. I like it, I like the size. So let's go ahead and hit make it. Our bottom layer is gonna be felt, and we're gonna cut that second, it looks like, which I actually prefer because we are gonna swap our blade to cut our felt here in a second. But since our first layer is HTV, we're gonna mirror it. And our second layer will still be cut on a mat, but it's just the felt background and we don't need to mirror that. So I'm gonna click continue here. So I'm gonna do everyday iron on for that first layer. I'm not gonna remember material settings though, because we are gonna be swapping to felt. So let's just leave that. I'm gonna leave that running and let's get this loaded up. Where did I put my mat? Huzzah! All right. Okay, so right over here, I'm going to not use this mat. That's gonna be for our felt later on. I'm gonna use this one, and I'm gonna lay my vinyl shiny side down on the mat here. Just press it down a little bit, and then get it in the Cricut. So I'm just gonna load it in. Make sure that's good and pressed down. Don't want any peeling to happen. We're gonna get that layer cut, and while that one is cutting, I'm gonna go ahead and put my felt on my fabric mat. All right, so here's our felt mat. She has been through a lot. She has a little bit of carnage, but there is a hack you can do and put wax paper underneath your felt and like iron it on for a second, and it prevents this, but I just ain't got time for that right now, so we are just going to continue abusing this poor little felt. So there's our felt. She's ready to go, and we are going to pause for a second. It's done. Okay, so our HTV is cut and ready to weed, but I wanna weed it while my felt is cutting. So let's hop over to the Cricut and I'm gonna show you how to swap out your fine point blade for a rotary blade, which is gonna be a lot better for this part of the project. Also, on the computer, I like to use this felt wool bonded setting, and then you're gonna see it's gonna recommend the fine point blade. You can totally cut this with your fine point blade if that's what you have at home, but if you have the rotary blade, I do find it gives you a bit of a cleaner cut. So we're actually gonna select Edit Tools right here, and we're gonna change to the rotary blade. So now this is ready to load up. So let's hop over there and get it going. Okay, so to swap out your rotary blade, we're just gonna open the housing right here, pull out our fine point blade, find a safe place to store that. And then here's what our rotary blade looks like. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put it right inside here, making sure that the gears are snug up against the housing. So we're gonna make sure it's nice and snug. Close it in, clamp it shut, and then we're ready to load our mat. We've already got our felt on our mat here, so I'm just going to load it under the guide points, press the load unload button, and let it go on in. Okie doke. Sorry for the intrusive camera. This is how you get a good view overhead. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and start weeding this. And then honestly, this ornament is gonna come together really fast. You're going to be shooketh. You're going to be stunned out of your mind. Honestly, it's a massive pet peeve of mine to weed white vinyl because I just feel like you can never see what you're doing. I do have the Cricut Bright Pad, and I will say, hot take, I think it's worth it. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna just rip the whole thing apart. Okay, you know what, that's fine. All right, let's get our other one off the Cricut. Okie dokie, we've made it through the hardest part of this, which was weeding that heat transfer vinyl. There's our cute little sweater backdrop. And actually, this part's gonna be really easy because all we're doing is ironing this on. I thought about doing this as 2 layers of felt, and you could do that, but I think it's a little more beginner friendly to do it with the HTV because we're just gonna iron this on. As opposed to if we were doing this with 2 layers of felt, that second layer of felt to cut would have to be a pretty simple design because this intricate of a cut with felt would be really challenging, and then gluing it all together is, I think, just a little bit harder. So I find this to be a little more beginner friendly, although you just watched me nearly like throw my weeding tool out the door, so who knows. So we're just gonna layer that on top and just press it down for 20 seconds. And it should get right on there. It's really easy to press onto felt. I think that it's one of the easier ones. In fact, 20 seconds may even be a little bit too long. We'll see how it does. Go. Oh no. Okay. That was because of the plastic that I have stuck on the bottom of my Cricut currently, so. Since this is so small, we're actually gonna have to like kind of peel it like away from it. Let's see if it really adhered. Let's see if it really got stuck on there. So far so good, it looks great. It's just getting it started because our transfer sheet is literally bigger than our design, which is quite unusual. We've got like kind of 3 points to hold down here, but once you kind of get it started, you wanna hold it down with your hand and then pull away. You should get a really, really good press out of this, because like I said, pressing on felt is usually really, really simple. We just have a few little wrinkles down here, and if you had like a small easy press, you could even come in and fix those, but that's cute. And then I feel like you could even come in with additional vinyl and add like a name across this center part, and it would just add that nice personalization, that personal touch. Okay, DB Besties, we have made 3 more ornaments that are selling really well, both online and in craft stores. We made our felt ornament, which you could do these with felt on felt and sew them and stuff them. You could make them flat with HTV like mine. However you do them, they are super fun for the holidays. You could even customize this one with a name across the front, which I love. We did our Glowforge wood ornament. This is perhaps the most complicated thing that we did today, but these are really fun for that personalized touch, and I think that they look really pro, especially once I go back and clean up a little bit of the extra glue there. And then we've also got our acrylic ornaments. I love these because they're so simple, they're fun. If you have kids, they could even paint these with you and then add the acrylic. So much fun, and again, trending for this holiday season. Okay, DB Besties, I hope you loved this video. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. We will see you back here next time. But until then, enjoy this blooper reel of all the times when I messed up. Until then, happy crafting. I feel like the hair is not hairing today. Calm down. And I got more paint on my table. Woo! Let's do it, let's do it, do it, do it. Where is this even coming from? I really need to put this on wheels. No, I think it's in that drawer. Ooh, it's kind of got like the cardboard stuck to it. Let's get down to business. Come on, my mat is stuck to my foot. Don't include that in the video. The struggle is so real. Okay.